undercarriage, but oh yeah, this is my French. Okay, one undercarriage, clean brake, we can fix that. Lost that and take off. This can be put back together. Motor feels fine. This is bent, this is broken. So I need a new engine mount. I might... Yeah, it snapped off there, doesn't it? Okay. Crack in the wing. Alright, that's not too bad. Ah, look, crack in the wing, that's for sure. I can repair all of it. Yeah, so this was a really bad damaged part. This took a lot of the force when it hit the ground. It was bent, broken. I've managed to glue it using CA, but I'm not happy with its strength. So I'm going to be reinforcing the inside of this. It's basically a wheel, strut and an engine mount. The motor operates fine, absolutely fine, but I did have to salvage this part of the spinner. It's a central hub to the spinner where the back plate is, because I realised that it acts as a spacer on the motor, and without this the prop would go too far down and it wouldn't bolt up because there's only so much thread on here, it doesn't go all the way down. So I've got that in there, the prop sits on it nicely and I can bolt it up. It might look a bit peculiar, but it should run perfectly alright. The nose steering was a big problem and I'm a little concerned with it, and it's this little thing here. This was bent to about 45 degrees. And thinking it was made out of steel, I straightened it and it gave way, and it's actually die cast. It is straight, but it's got no strength, so what I'll be doing, I'll be putting epoxy resin on it, and again using this fibre matting, I will bind it around just where it joins the head, because that's where the shaft goes through and how you steer the nose wheel. You cannot get spares for these, so you have to repair everything or make new bits. Then we come to the main fuselage. So what did I do with this? Well, this bit came off during takeoff, so that's fine. The receiver's fine, the servos are fine in here. What I ended up doing, and I'll take it off now, is this Velcro strap to reshape and remold everything back into place. So what I've done on this is soak it in boiling hot water. I literally boiled a kettle and, holding the plane by the tail, poured 3 kettles worth of boiling hot water, freshly boiled, all over this area. And it's come out quite well. You got a bit of alligator showing on it, but it's come out well. It fits together perfectly. While it was wet, I used this strap that I've just taken off to hold everything in place. Now, it's not glued, so it still comes apart. As far as the engine mount and the nose wheel mount is concerned, once I've reinforced it on the inside, I purposely left this piece on because it will act as a key when I install this into here to make sure that it matches up with this. And I'll be using epoxy to bind this together and using the strap to do it all up. The undercarriage, well, that's fine now. Actually, the brake here was absolutely fine. It is nice and clean. So I just put CA on it, put it back in place, and I've just taped it just to give it that extra bit of support with the fibre tape. And that just basically just slots in there. There we are. Everything else is fine on the fuselage. Now, as I said, you can't get parts. So one thing I cannot get is the cowling that went over here. And I was a bit disappointed that there's no spares for this anywhere. You just cannot get spares. So I had a spare prop, which was fortunate. So I'm good to go with that. Okay, here's the time for truth. How did it all go? So what have we done? We have reinstalled the engine mount. We rejoined the foam split down there and here. We've joined it all the way down here where it's split open. Bit of glue there. And this is the bearing, if you like, the support for the front nose wheel. That's all glued in. I'll just spray this black in a minute. It should come off. Yep, no problem. I also glued this board back in because this is split open. It's come away from the board. Yeah, and it looks good. So next will be to set up the nose wheel and the steering. But before I do that, I'd just like to show you what I've done on that particular piece. And I've done it on these pieces. I've used that glue that activates with ultraviolet light. I've painted it on the surface, then activated it with the ultraviolet light, then put it outside for a whole day in daylight, which actually hardens it significantly more than the light from the torch does, the ultraviolet light. So I'm hoping that will give it enough support now. I've then used my Yoo-Hoo glue to reset the engine mount into the foam.